I stop the carousel. When it's no longer moving, I walk towards them and start to say, "Hey, I just need you to hold on for safety." When entitled mom gets up in my face and starts screaming at me, "You have no right to talk to my kids. You embarrassed my daughter by yelling at her. You do not get to talk to my kids." I immediately back up and start trying to explain. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but it's my job. But she cut me off again. "No, you're not just. You're telling my kids what to do, and you have no right to do that. What is your name?" At this point, I'm just crying, because not only is this customer yelling at me, there's a lot of people in line watching this happen, and it's sending me into an anxiety attack. Luckily for me, my manager's office is nearby, so she comes out to check on what's happening. I don't know what she said to the entitled mom, because at that point I'd started having a full-blown panic attack, but the entitled mom and her kids were ushered away by my manager and one of my coworkers. I was later told they were kicked out entirely, while the other person I was working with led me to the office and set me down in a chair so I could calm down. Edit. Thanks everyone for the kind words and awards. This was my first encounter with an entitled parent. People in my country are usually pretty understanding, so it means a lot to me that so many people are on my side. Speaking of carousels, have you ever been on a carousel? And if so, did you like it? Please let us know. I'd rather go on a roller coaster, to be honest. Would I be the jerk if I take my son's presents from under the tree and return them? I have a 13-year-old son who has ADHD and a mood disorder. He's always been very difficult since he was about 3 years old, with constant emotional outbursts and destructive behavior. We've been in and out of therapy and psychiatrist offices since he was 5. On to the issue. He has chores that he has to do daily. He was doing his chores today, and he spilled water all over the floor and counter and didn't clean it up. This is a daily thing lately, and my husband has had to tell him every day to clean it up. My husband told him to clean it up, and my son only cleaned what he spilled on the counter. My husband got upset and called him lazy. Now, my son is lazy, but I honestly think his ADHD plays a huge role in things like this. This is why I don't know if we're the jerks. My son started saying that he's not lazy and saying, "What don't you understand about I didn't see it?" with an attitude to my husband. He then refuses to do his chores and storms upstairs to his room, where he starts destroying his things, ripping pages out of books, poking holes in things like boxes and even his sheets, ripping up comics and Pokemon cards, etc. My husband went upstairs and threw everything away that had been destroyed. After, my son doubled down and took his expensive puzzle that he had been working on, that he just got for his birthday last month, and takes it downstairs to be thrown away. We throw it away. He was still talking back and doing a poor me thing, so my husband told him that if he didn't do his chores, he would start taking his Xmas gifts and returning them. Reasoning being, if he doesn't take care of his things we get him and treats them like trash, why are we spending all of our hard-earned money on gifts for him? My husband is all about actually returning his gifts, but I'm having a hard time with it. While I think he needs some consequence, I feel like he can't control his emotions as well as others, and I don't want to ruin his Christmas over something he can't control. But I also don't want to enable him or prevent him from learning a lesson he may need to learn. So, would I be the jerk if we return all or most of his gifts? Edit. Since a lot of you seem to think I've done nothing to help him, again, he's been in and out of therapy. He starts to do well, then we are told he doesn't need therapy anymore, and treatment ends. Right now, we've had a hard time finding a therapist that accepts our insurance and that is taking new patients. Waiting lists are 6 months or longer where I am, and that's with good insurance. He still sees a doctor for his medication, and this doctor is the only reason we have an appointment in a couple weeks with a behavioral health doctor, but they can only help with short-term issues and don't offer long-term treatment. Edit 2. Just had a talk with my son. He's calmed down and apologized. He said he was triggered by being called lazy, which my husband apologized for. He feels like he's bottled his emotions up for a long time. He feels like he's never been liked by his peers, and he feels like he can't control his reactions when he gets upset. These are all valid, and he's having a heart-to-heart about his peers with my husband right now. I think his lack of friends over the years has really hurt him, and he's lashing out. We won't be taking back his Christmas presents. We have an appointment in a couple weeks for short-term mental health and are on waiting lists for long-term therapy. Thank you to everyone who gave advice. To those who say I'm not parenting or I don't care about my son, you can buzz off. I fought for him since he was 5 to get fair treatment in school, and my family, and in life in general, and I will continue to do everything I can for him. Last edit. My husband has admitted to being